The following program is sponsored by Friends of Life Outreach International.
The hospice nurses, they said they thought that she was going to die in the next few days. And they said, we're going to have to move her at least to hospice because she didn't have any, she wasn't able to communicate or anything. Within a few weeks, she was talking again. Her personality was back. Her mind was back.
Using his research to turn his mother's brain back on, Dr. Don Colbert now urges you to enter the healthy brain zone. Next on Life Today.
James and Betty Robinson welcome you to Life Today. Now, I want you to kind of zero in and zoom in. We don't come on the air because we look for something to do. You know, we're both going to be 80 years old this year. I'm sorry, we're close to the same. I know she looks like she could be my daughter. I'm sorry. But here's the deal. We're here for one reason. Okay, I think God is correcting me. He said two. You're here for me and them, and I'm for them. And I have put the I'm for them in you and Betty and your guests. You're here for them. Well, we are. And I want to tell you something. I want to help you. I've got a doctor here who can help all of us. He's been doing it for years effectively. Not wishful thinking. Many times miraculous reality. I want to help you with the mental deterioration that we're experiencing as we get older. Frankly, when people are very young now. And there are causes of it, but there's also cures. This is the healthy brain zone, reverse memory loss, reduce your risk of dementia and Alzheimer's. This is climbing rapidly. Please hear me. We are losing our friends. Betty lost her mother to it. We've lost close friends. I lost my closest friends to it. We've got closest friends' spouses right now that have it. They don't know what's going on. We're dealing with and praying with all the kids and the grandkids. So much of this is happening, it doesn't have to happen, and it can be reversed. And we have a doctor here who actually really, really loves his patients the way physicians and doctors and surgeons are supposed to, and many have, and many do. I'm telling you, Betty and I are here because God put a love in our heart for you. Don Colbert is here because of it. Dr. Colbert, you've been here, for, just like I tell a lot of my friends, we sponsor your television airtime. But we put on the air what's best. Yeah. And I know you love coming here. I know you're excited because you did something to help your mother, who's 87. And it was kind of almost like a resurrection of the dead. And I don't think you were going to stay there. But you're seeing something happen that you've already even seen do what looked like the impossible. Now you want to tell us some things, and then there are even other things that he's discovering that there's something that you actually put in your system that looks like it is totally indescribably, biblically miraculous. We're going to talk about that in the very near future when we can really illustrate it and demonstrate it for you. But here are the cures you believe you put in this book. I want you to take us through this book that is laid out fabulously and just tell us why this is so big to you beyond your mother and why you think this will be so helpful to our viewers.
First of all, it started with my dad. Back over 30 years ago, he started developing dementia. He was in his 50s. He died at 81. He was in a nursing home for over 10 years. He had severe Alzheimer's where he couldn't even live at home. And then my mother, who worked until she was 82 in a bank full-time, started developing dementia. Now, my father had a genetic cause to his dementia. 25% of us have the genes that cause Alzheimer's, yet very few doctors check. And if you have those genes, don't worry. If you're on the right diet, the right nutrition, then we can prevent it as long as you don't drink alcohol and don't get brain trauma or head trauma. We can prevent it, so no problem. But with my mom, she was dying. Back last year, she was dying. They actually called us and said, hospice nurse says your mom only has a few days to live. She's gone. She had had COVID, and she was literally not eating or drinking, and she was in a comatose state. I told my brother, let's start doing this regimen because I've been working on a book, and I know what works to start turning the brain on. I started giving her these vitamins that lower homocysteine levels. And lots of them. I gave her lots of vitamin D because the vitamin D turns on over 900 genes and helps to repair synapses in the brain. One of the key things I did is I put her on testosterone. Testosterone is a powerful hormone, but in order to get a lot in her, I had to give it an injection.
Yeah.
And so I gave her this injection. My brother, I taught him how to do it, but we started on testosterone injections, a good hefty dose. Testosterone starts to repair neurons and prevents shrinkage of the brain. Also, some is converted to estrogen, and estrogen and testosterone increase the most powerful protein in the body for growing brain cells called brain-derived neurotrophic factors, like Miracle-Gro for the brain, where you start to grow new brain cells, you start to repair old brain cells and synapses. Something absolutely miraculous happened within just a few weeks. The hospice nurses could not believe it. Now, I did a few other things I discussed in the book, but they said they thought that she was going to die in the next few days. And they said, we're going to have to move her at least to hospice because she didn't have any, she wasn't able to communicate or anything. Within a few weeks, she was talking again. Her personality was back. Her mind was back. She was enjoying life, interacting, and she was back to normal. We couldn't believe it.
Were you basically getting her to do much of what you say in here?
Yes, we were, because we had full control of what she ate and what she drank and what supplement she was on. Now, we were having to open the capsules and stir them up because she couldn't swallow pills. We got her some dissolvable pills that she could take. And we lowered her homocysteine level, which I talk about, which is so important because homocysteine is a toxic amino acid, and I check it on most of my patients now that are 60 and over, because if your level is high, it is causing inflammation of the brain and brain degeneration. Now, the key is this. The lab normal values are between 0 and some labs say 19.2. If it's over 10, you are getting inflammation in the brain and brain degeneration, usually. If you have the Alzheimer's gene or the ApoE4 gene, which, by the way, 25% of you have it. If you have it, then you need to get your homocysteine level 7 or below, or else you are inflaming and degenerating your brain. So that was a key thing I did. And I go in detail on how to do it. It's real simple, but most of your doctors don't know this. If you go ask your doctor for a homocysteine level, you'll get the answer, and it'll be like 13 or 14. You'll say, oh, your level's normal. It's in the normal parameters. No. If it's greater than 10, you're developing inflammation in the brain and usually degeneration in the brain. So again, what I did is we combined all of this together, the right diet, because my mom had type 2 diabetes. So she literally chose, unfortunately, Alzheimer's, because most Alzheimer's is type 3 diabetes of the brain or insulin resistance of the brain. The brain is starving for sugar, but it can't get in the brain because the cells are resistant to the action of insulin. So all I did is I put on a few key nutrients that help to reverse insulin resistance. Her diabetes improved, not meds. I didn't have to use meds. I used mainly nutritional supplements and diet, a special healthy ketogenic type diet that you're taking. And again, my mom had suffered a hip fracture, so she couldn't walk. So exercise was out of the question. I couldn't do that. But at least we're able to get her a good night's sleep, a comfortable night's sleep. Sleeping is one of the best ways to help the brain. Deep, well-oxygenated sleep on your side. When you sleep with your head on the side, it activates one of the most powerful processes in the body, which is the lymphatic system of the brain. Now, this is the waste disposal system of the brain, where our brain starts to eliminate beta amyloid. That's the goo that causes Alzheimer's, that's associated with Alzheimer's. So deep sleep is important, and intermittent fasting. When you skip a meal, for instance, breakfast or dinner, and you fast for 14 hours a day and eat in a 10-hour window, you unleash a process called autophagy. Your body starts to self-digest and eliminate beta amyloid, the goo associated with Alzheimer's disease. You also boost this powerful protein, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, that starts to repair the brain and restore and renew the brain. And so what happens when you're intermittent fasting and sleeping well and eating a keto diet and then enjoying life and exercising, these powerful things, lifestyle factors, all boost brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which starts to repair and regenerate and renew the brain. It's so easy. Then you combine the nutrients and the hormones, and I talk about what hormones. Hormones are critical.
And when you say I talk about, are we talking about in here?
Yes, in the book.
Yeah, because he's covering a lot of ground. Let's face it. Okay, I can talk pretty swift, okay? They're not in the same league. I can't use these words and don't understand what all they mean. He actually explains them in here. I'm trying to tell you that what you're hearing is rapid fire from somebody who's spent his life trying to get people well. And he's given a testimony of a miraculous, like almost a resurrection from the dead, of his mother. When he began to be able to put some of these things very deliberately in place, which she wasn't able to do, they did it for her. You're saying that if we will begin, and you've looked at all this, Betty, you are very fanatical about trying to do what's best. Now, Betty and I told you, it's been how many years ago now that we lost the 25 pounds on keto together. They couldn't believe you lost that. Because you look like
it's been about 3 years.
3 years, okay. We've basically stayed there, okay? We've just stayed there. I've had a little fluctuation, nothing, ever get a little tiny bit right here. That's the only place. I don't carry fat. I don't allow this spike stuff to go on. And I don't totally stay away from sugar. I'm sorry, excuse me, and I'm confessing, oh God, here's the deal. I'm not letting anything control me like that. I don't want anything in the world to control me but God. And we go through the boat. He's not angry at you when he loses control. He just loves you. That's what we're sitting here talking about. We're not trying to scold you, beat you up, beat you down, make you feel small, or like you just don't have enough sense to do what's right. That's not what we're saying. We don't know what to do. We don't know what's best. He's trying to help. And he's put in a book. I mean, the man spends a tremendous amount of time not only with patients, he's trying to help them. He's broken all of this down. I mean, you've got, what is going on. Tell you what's happening. The top 10 dementogen, what do you say?
Dementogens. Similar to, you see, a carcinogen is a cancer-causing agent. A dementogen is a dementia-causing agent.
Okay, middle dementia.
Such as many fish that are high in mercury, like orange roughy and shark and big-eyed tuna. How about salmon?
We eat a lot of salmon.
Salmon's great. It's low in mercury, especially Alaskan wild-type salmon.
Oh, yeah, that's what we like.
But dementogens are simply mercury, arsenic, lead, cadmium, anticholinergic meds that block acetylcholine in the brain,
you tell what these things you're saying mean in here.
Yes, I go into the key dementogens that I see.
And then you've got a healthy brain zone plan. All of this is just amazing here, and I'm telling you, he's actually not only a good talker, he's actually a good writer. And he puts this down for us. Would you say what he's taught us has changed and maybe even saved our lives?
Absolutely. I've got his books at home, and I'll pick them if I've forgotten something. I'll grab it again, and kind of refresh my thoughts and memory on it and everything. Now I got one on memory.
Praise God.
I'm just sitting here looking at her, and everybody knows I can look at her. She looks like she's going to be 80. I don't even think I look so bad.
You don't.
I was going really downhill till we got to be good friends.
Yes.
I started getting more like Betty. Okay.
But we basically don't eat an evening meal. We just don't. Our big meal is at lunch.
Can I tell you that one thing? You unleashed one of the most powerful healing processes in your body by intermittent fasting. But that is one of the most powerful things you can do. I had a patient or a person that I just talked to, a minister from Russia, and he says that he never sees an Alzheimer's patient in Russia. And I said, never. He says, they walk everywhere. And he says, also what they do is they eat natural foods, but many of them will skip a meal. He says, I only eat one meal a day. Yeah. And he has sharp memory, incredible memory.
This is so different from what the Western way has taught us.
Yes.
It's really the world's way. It's anything but God's. And I got to be honest with you, because I love to eat. I love what tastes good, feels good. You understand that? I think the natural appetites are our biggest test and biggest challenge.
Sure.
Not the unnatural appetites. Those are big enough that you really get sick to get there. But the natural have a tendency to overpower us and overwhelm us. If we can bring them under control, then nature begins to work with what God naturally made us to do, and it is miraculous. I mean, Betty and I really, okay, so we're going to be 80. We're not planning on going anywhere, all right? I mean, we're going to heaven.
Yes.
We're already in heaven. I wish all of you could understand. I'm living the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is here in us.
Yes.
Why wait? Let's get started. Why don't we start overseeing God's earth like it's His place, His kingdom? Well, we need to do it healthy. Okay, Doc. Now, we're going to talk a whole lot more in the next program. But
I wanted to ask you one question. Do you recommend that everybody get that test to see if they have that gene?
I do, especially if they're having short-term memory issues.
Or family
history of Alzheimer's or dementia. Please get the ApoE gene test, simple little blood test. We do it every day at my office, and get the homocysteine levels. Now I have a page of all. I have like 4 or 5 pages of all the blood tests recommended, but 2 of the most important, I would say, is the ApoE gene test and the homocysteine test. Homocysteine, HOMOCYSTEINE level, and APO gene test. That's it. The letter E.
Haven't we had?
Correct.
We did.
When my mother passed away, we did. We both had it, and we did not have the gene. But can that change? I mean,
no. But you don't. Thank goodness you don't have the gene. 25% of the people in this country have the Alzheimer's gene. 25%. That's huge.
So they need to start dealing with it with a real focus.
Yes, because they need to follow my chapter on ApoE gene. Because if you have the ApoE gene, your cholesterol is usually high, your sugar's usually high, you develop insulin resistance younger, and you should avoid alcohol, or at least minimize alcohol, and you need to avoid head trauma. You should not, and especially your kids. If your kids are doing full contact sports like football, lacrosse, soccer, or motorcycle riding, or karate or judo, and have head injuries, they're much more prone to develop Alzheimer's. So I go in a whole chapter on that.
All right, let me tell you something. He's going to be back in another program right here, either tomorrow or the next day, because we're going to deal with this more. And I know you want to ask questions. There's no way we can get all the questions that would come in and get them as here they are. Now, I don't know how I can do anything better than to set you in front of a doctor that'll shoot straight with you. Well, he is sitting straight in front of you. He's putting it down. He'll spell it for you. You know, I don't know if you'll pronounce it right, but at least you'll know what you're looking for. You'll know what to discuss with somebody you trust or your own doctor. But you're going to find the truth here. And can people find at pharmaceuticals or at a drugstore where they sell nutritional things, can they go and get the pharmaceuticals or the people at the desk to tell them where they can find these that they can buy over the counter that'll help offset some of this?
I've got a list in the index, in the appendix of the book, what supplements I recommend. I have the Brain Zone products, for example. They go to my website at drcolbert.com, drcolbert.com. But to take what my mother took, which pulled her out of this, and I've helped many patients with this. We have the key products, 1 that lowers homocysteine, 2 products that help to boost the brain-derived neurotrophic factor and the nerve growth factor. It helps restore the brain. And 3, a product called Brain Zone Focus, which helps to focus the brain. As we age,
we're going to have you back and talk more specifically about that. Let me tell you what we're doing for you right now. We have an incredible bronze for those of you who will help us really well. And this is a bronze of Cardinals, which was our baby girl who went to heaven 10 years ago Christmas. And we obviously it reminds her, but it shows the beauty of God. We're sending this to everybody as a gift if you will help us drill water wells. But if you say, James, I'm going to help you give water. I'm going to give people water that never had it. I'm going to be their miracle and their answer to prayer. But would you send me that? You better believe it. As though just like sends you Dr. Colbert to your home. And let's get after it. And Lord, let's see people's brains and minds healed. Help us start doing things right, because our body is your temple.
Yes.
It's your temple to do your kingdom, fulfill your kingdom will and purpose. So God, work a miracle.
Amen.
I want to help you. Dr. Colbert's going to be back. And a way you can just have him in your home. Would you help us become someone's miracle? Now I want you to watch very closely. And I want you to be thinking this. Can I make their miracle happen? Can I be their answer to prayer? Yes, you can. Watch.
The far corners of the world frame a beautiful picture of God's creation and the unique people created in His own image. And as you visit different countries, you're sure to see many different cultures and customs. But even in the midst of this diversity, there is one commonality shared by all: the need for water. We need water to grow our food. We need water to care for our animals. And we ourselves need to drink water to survive. But unfortunately, many people around the world don't have access to clean water. The only water they have available is contaminated, and it's the children that suffer the most from waterborne diseases.
La niña a mí se me murió de infección en los riñones y de diarrea. Y esa agua está contaminada, pero esa es la única agua que hay aquí.
ចាខ្ញុំខ្វះទឹកតាំងពីក្មេងរហូតមកទល់រាល់ថ្ងៃនៅតែខ្វះទឹកប្រើទឹកអត់ស្អាតប្រើទឹកច្រាស់គ្រួសារនិយាយទៅមិនថាគ្រួសារខ្ញុំគ្រួសារគ្រប់គ្នាទាំងអស់ឈឺរាករូសអញ្ចឹងទាំងអស់
Just as the problem of contaminated water is the same around the world, so is the solution. You can help drill new water wells in many different countries and provide clean water to hundreds of thousands of people. Clean water changes everything. Clean water saves lives.
Do you think that Betty and I could travel 30 years to 50 countries and just watch people die? No. We couldn't watch children starve if we didn't know we couldn't save them. Betty, we started feeding, and I say we, there's the we.
That's right.
We said, could we feed them? 18 million we know lives have been saved that we know of by those foreign governments telling us. Not the missionaries, the governments. We have drilled over 7,000 water wells. There are 70,000 places that need water in those villages. People like you have said, I can give a village their water. And Betty, those wells are $4,800. That's a miracle. And that's water for that village. $48 gives 10 people water the rest of their life. Where could you better put $48? 144, 30 people. I know you want to do it. I've got a doctor sitting here. Every doctor on the planet that cares anything about a patient wishes they had the perfect cure. We have the perfect cure. This isn't wishful thinking. This is the miracle they long for. It's clean, fresh water we have access to. We don't tell you we can drill if we don't know because of boreholes where it gets dirty and filthy and contaminated. The water's down there. We can reach it. Would you please help us drill another 350? Did you know last year they helped us go past that? They didn't know it, but they did it. And I tell you what, I just think you can do it again. Let me ask you a question. I've said, can you drill a well? I have a question I'm going to ask. I haven't asked this. I bet I haven't asked this since we started, maybe once or twice ever. Could you drill 10? You say 50,000, 48,000? I just ask you, could you? Why would you ask me? Because there are 10 villages that need it. Somebody could say, I can get God's arms around those, so go ahead and do it. God has given the older people on this planet the majority of the resources that are substantial and solid on this planet, and especially in the United States. So whatever you can do it. I mean, do it big. Because a water well in a village where they got no clean water is big. I mean, it's bigger than any entertainment park. It's the greatest thing they ever imagined happening to them. It's a miracle answered prayer. Betty, we're praying together.
Yes, we are.
Every single person watching that can give a well will. That could give 10 people water the rest of their life with a $48 gift, or 144, 30 people. Go right now, get your bank card. Use it like a check. Write a check, make it a life. That's what you're giving. We're going to send gifts to you that will bless you, including how to help your mind and the minds of the people you love get healthy and stay healthy. Because you are the temple of God. You're the miracle worker. You're the answer to prayer for so many people. Thank you. This is our last week now. Go online, dial that number, take your bank card, use it like a check. If you write a check, tell us what you're made. Call us. Tell us what you put in the mail. We're believing God for a miracle, for them and for you.
Every day, thousands of lives are lost to waterborne disease, and nearly half of those are children under the age of 5. Through Mission Water for Life, you can give mothers hope and children a future as we provide clean, life-giving water for thousands of children and their families before it's too late. With your gift today, you can help drill and establish 350 water wells this year. Your gift of $24 will help provide clean water for 5 children. A gift of $48 will help provide for 10. $72 will provide for 15. And $144 will help provide life-giving water for 30 people for a lifetime. With your gift of any amount, we'll send you the Life Prayer Journal, complete with customized art, scripture verses, and inspirational quotes from Life Today hosts and co-hosts. You'll find plenty of room to write down prayer requests, answered prayers, and your own personal reflections as you spend time with God. With your gift of $100 or more, please request the Blessed Cutting Board, a beautiful addition to your kitchen and preparation area. This pine wood cutting board is custom engraved with the word blessed as a reminder of the daily provision of God in your life. Finally, please consider a gift of $1,200 to help provide for 250 people, or a gift of $4,800 to help sponsor a complete well. And you may request our colorful bronze sculpture, Consider the Birds. This is the last week. Please call, write, or make your gift online.
I think it's really important that I remind you this is the last week of this emphasis. And we're believing God for these wells. Let's get as far as we can, for all of them this year. You see what we're going to send you. The beautiful bronze, and then healthy brain zone. There's a zone. We can reverse that memory loss, even Alzheimer's. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing life. Dr. Colbert, you know we love you. We feel like you're part of our family. We're kind of physicians together.
Amen.
Trying to touch the broken hearts and broken lives and the needs of the people all over the world. And we do it together. Thank you for being such a big help.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping us put God's arms around so many people all over the world. Thank you.
Are you concerned about your family being ill-equipped to manage resources when you pass away? Do you want to leave a legacy gift that impacts the lives of others? As a free service to our friends and partners, Life Planning Services, a ministry of Life Outreach International, is here to help with your estate planning needs and chart your financial future. Do not put off this important step to protect your loved ones and leave a lasting legacy. Contact Life Planning Services today. Stay connected with Life Today through your favorite social media. Get access to exclusive content and news with the Life Today social media experience. Dr. Don Colbert helps us enter the healthy brain zone and fight memory loss, dementia, and Alzheimer's with the food we eat. Tomorrow on Life Today. Life Today is made possible by the supporters of Life Outreach International. Your gift will be used exclusively for the exempt purposes of life. The ministry features specific outreaches as examples of the programs it supports and conducts. Gifts are considered to be